Today we're talking about 5 beginner isopod keeping mistakes and how to avoid them. Hello creature lovers and welcome to the universe. My name is Martin from Creepy Creatures Universe, and today we are talking about 5 common beginner isopod keeping mistakes. And if you enjoy invertebrate and isopod content, you should subscribe to never miss anything out. Let's dive into it, straight into it. Number 1 is to wet or to dry. How to fix it is pretty simple. Let's start with to wet. To wet is easy to fix. You are the one who puts in the water, so you are the one who's responsible for to wet. What does it mean? No isopod needs a soggy, wet substrate. I show you how to avoid that. Next thing is to dry, and to dry is always a moss thing. As you can see, moss is pretty nice to look at, and I know a lot of you using it for decoration, but in fact moss is for humidity. This is bone dry forest moss. Why bone dry? We open the brick, and when you open a brick, always dry out the moss you want to store. We have the first layer of moss inside. Now we spray it. And yes, I'm using a spray bottle for this. It's better than the squish bottle when it's dry. After it's soaked, I only use the squish bottle. Moss layer number 1. Moss layer number 2. And we're packing it, compressing it a bit, spraying it down again. This will be watered when the pots go in, so there's no need to soak it completely through. And moss layer number 3. We water this down as well. And now I'm gonna show you what's the big difference between a moss pad and this. Look at the thickness of the layer. You can press it down to the back wall a bit. And now you can see this is about straight here. So we're talking 3 to 4 centimeters, even 5 centimeters of moss. That prevents your pots or your bins from drying out. And this also prevents your bins from being too wet, because now you know you have this very moist spot on the back of the bin, and you don't have to water the bin that much. So not too wet, not too dry. And if you're doing it right and you know your conditions in the room you're keeping them, this lasts for 1 week before you need to spray or do anything else. That's number 1. Number 2 is pretty simple. Too much food. And there is a person behind the camera who does that as well, babe. Too much food can be a problem. First, it gets soggy, it gets moldy, it gets mushy. You don't want that in your bins. It's not that big deal for the pots, especially if you have springtails in your bin. But reconsider mites. Mites can be a problem, and excess food will attract mites if you have them somewhere. And believe me, they are somewhere anytime. So how to prevent? 2 ways. Number 1, just feed solid stuff. We made an isopod food video where I explained this in detail, but here's a little shortage, a little compressed answer. We're feeding squash and carrot as a main supplement food, and they are both pretty solid, not much watery, so they last much longer than, let's say, a cucumber or something. Next, and this is a big point, too less leaf litter. And just to clarify, everybody's saying you need leaf litter. That's not true. You need a fiber or a wooden source with cellulose for the pods, but this also can be flake soil. So leaf litter. So when I talk about leaf litter, I always talk about the food source that contains the cellulose. And as you can see, bin, leaf litter, and yes, it's dry leaf litter. This is enough leaf litter in my mind. So as you see, it's evened out with the moss. Dusty. This is enough leaf litter. If you put in this amount of leaf litter, you're safe. That doesn't go for flake soil. Flake soil is a bit different, but most of you will use leaf litter. So now we can close this box because we don't need to show you something from the inside. It's now an outside thing. And the next is not enough or too less ventilation. Ventilation is important. It's important everywhere in nature, or fresh air or air exchange. What means air exchange? Or no, take a step back. What's the best way to create air exchange? And it is always cross ventilation. What does cross ventilation mean? You have two opposite sides of the bin, holes in one side, holes in the other side, the air flows through. What is too much or too less ventilation? An answer you won't like. I can't tell you the exact amount of ventilation. It depends on your temperatures, on the humidity in the room you keep them. But with this setup in a bin, with these two 34 millimeter vents, I think, I'm pretty satisfied. This works in our whole house. We had them in 3 different rooms now, and we are pretty satisfied with that. What you also should reconsider, if you stack bins, it makes not much sense to drill holes in the lid on the top because you're putting a bin on it. I'm just saying, just have it in mind. And last but not least, and pretty important, not doing the research on the species you want to keep. Yes, there are a lot of keepers that generalize their keeping conditions, and we are one of them. But why? Because we know what we are doing. And even we do our research on new species to see if they fit in our system or if they need special treatment. So your responsibility as a keeper, and I mean that very serious, guys, your responsibility as a keeper is to do the proper research on the animals you keep. And we would not be we if we wouldn't have a solution for that. So I don't know, there or there or there or there will be a playlist popping up in a few seconds that will give you, I think, 10 different care guides of 10 different isopod species. So we want to be part of the solution. And in reality, that's it. Nothing more to say to these 5 common isopod keeping mistakes. We hope you can avoid them now. We hope you didn't do them before. And we hope we could help you out with that. So wish you all the best. Have a great week, or have a great 3 days now is the right term. And see you in the universe. Bye bye.